What if Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury doesn't happen? Well, obviously, there will be a lot of disappointed British boxing fans. Most people who follow Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury are casuals. You can't become a big star and make big money without a big casual following. It's only a minority of boxing fans who are hardcores. And those casuals don't tend to be as interested in as many fighters as hardcore boxing fans are. And in the UK, they're fixated on a fight between Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury. But for me personally, as a hardcore boxing fan, my desire to see that fight really hinges upon the results of Dubois AJ and Usyk Fury 2. Because if AJ and Fury both lose their fights, then honestly, I really won't care about whether AJ Fury ever happens. What I care most about is establishing who the best heavyweight in the division is. That's been established for now in Alexander Usyk, but theoretically, AJ and Fury still have a chance to snatch that crown off his head. But let's say AJ wins and Fury loses. Would I still be interested in seeing AJ Fury at that point? Let's say as a voluntary defense for Anthony Joshua? Well, I don't like people getting title shots coming off the back of a loss, which is what Tyson Fury would be doing. There'd be a whole list of contenders out there for AJ to fight who are coming off wins. People like Martin Piccoli. You'd have to go through the IBF top 10. Ajit Kabayel's there as well. But my feelings aside, I'm sure a lot of boxing fans, depending on how Fury performs in defeat against Usyk in the rematch, a lot of fans will probably still be interested in AJ Fury in that scenario because both AJ and Fury would be in the same position, having both lost twice to Alexander Usyk. So that fight would be all about bragging rights in Britain. Who's the best British heavyweight of this era? And who's the number 2 in the world in this era behind Alexander Usyk? But if both Joshua and Fury were to lose their next fights, is Joshua Fury still a fight that we really need to see? That anyone really needs to see? Back in the 90s, we all wanted to watch Lennox Lewis fight a rematch with Riddick Bowe. They obviously fought in the Olympics. In 1988, in the pro game, Riddick Bowe ducked Lennox Lewis when Lewis was his WBC mandatory. He famously threw the WBC belt in the trash. But subsequently, there were several occasions where they were actually gearing up to fight each other. But they both got sidetracked with defeats and other issues in their careers. Officially, Riddick Bowe only actually had one defeat in his boxing career, which was the rematch to Evander Holyfield. But if you've ever watched the Andrew Golota fights, yes, Riddick Bowe won technically by disqualification, but he got the stuffing beat out of him on both occasions, particularly in the second fight. He took a horrible beating from Andrew Golota, and subsequent to that, Lewis fought Golota and knocked him out in, 91 seconds? So that fight right there, at the time, was seen as the next best thing to Lewis Bowe. And Lewis dealt with him, Andrew Golota that is, with ease. At which point, interest in Lewis Bowe started to decline. That fight was no longer essential. It was still a fight that some people wanted to see, and even now we look back and think, what if? But it wasn't an essential fight to establish who the best heavyweight was of that era. It would have been a nice little cherry on top, but the whole cake was already there. The icing was already on it. Similar thing in this era. If Joshua Fury doesn't happen in the scenario I've just described, if both guys lose their upcoming fights. In fact, even if one of them loses their upcoming fight and the other one wins, the fight still won't be that significant between them, at least not globally. In the UK, yeah, bragging rights still. But globally, in the grand scheme of things, in terms of the history of heavyweight boxing, it's whatever. It would be like Ricky Hatton and Junior Witter not happening. At the time, that seemed like a big deal to British boxing fans, but looking back historically, who cares really? But that's just my take. Give me your take in the comment section below. What if Joshua Fury never happens? Will it be a travesty if both guys win their next fights and the fight never happens? I'd agree, yeah, it would be a travesty. But if either of them or both of them lose, I'm shrugging my shoulders. But give me your thoughts in the comment section below.